Hello, welcome to episode 61 of Let's Talk Immigration. I am going now to hook up the Telegram to the streaming and maybe the Instagram. I don't know. No, I'm not doing the Instagram. Somebody's going to do the Instagram, maybe. We'll see. We're still learning technology. I know other people have already mastered it, but okay. So if you didn't hear me before, welcome to episode 61 of Let's Talk Immigration. If you have a question, please drop that on YouTube or Facebook because that's the easiest place for me to find it and answer it. Also, it looks like our Instagram is live. Yay, we did it. Omar says, hi, Curtis. Hi. Hi, Omar. First thing I want to talk about today is never delay in reaching out to an immigration attorney to ask a simple question or a difficult question. Because when you make assumptions, sometimes you're wrong, okay? I heard this week from a family where the green card holder had not filed a petition for their adult child, and the reason they had not filed the unmarried adult child, and the reason they had not filed that petition was they had made an assumption, never talked to an immigration attorney, they had made an assumption that it would be quicker and easier and better after the green card holder naturalized and became a U.S. citizen. Okay, so some of you in the that are very knowledgeable are realizing the problem already. But for those that aren't, I'm going to show you how a simple assumption like that can cause a big problem. Here's the visa bulletin for January of 2024. Okay. The F1 category is the category that they're waiting on. They decided to wait until the petitioner was a U.S. citizen, so unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizen. Before, he could have filed the petition under F2B, which would be unmarried son and daughter, 21 age or older. Okay, so they thought it would be better to wait to do an F1 instead of to do an F2B. Okay, here's the visa bulletin, final action date, chart A, which actually says what visas are available from congressional allotments. And what we have is the State Department is issuing visas today to people who filed petitions before January 1st of 2015 for F1. F1, remember, child of U.S. citizens. But F2B, they are issuing visas to petitions that were filed before October 1st, 2015. So we see that this journey, this F1 journey, may last 9 more months than the F2B journey. Not to mention, this is the hard part, they waited 3 or 4 years before filing the petition. So they basically lost 5 years. It's very unfortunate. Now, some of you are thinking, well, wait a second. What if the green card holder files an F2B petition but naturalizes? Well, in that case, you can notify NVC, this is the procedure, that you want to change the visa category from F2B to F1, except you want to preserve the F2B visa chart. Okay? Not everyone wants to do that, though. If you skip over here to the Philippines, you'll see that in the Philippines, F1 is better than F2B. But that is only in the Philippines. F1 is only better than F2B in the Philippines for January. The visa bulletin changes, so this could change between now and when the visas are issued. But it's It's important to understand the visa bulletin if you're navigating a family, employment, or diversity visa-based immigrant application. And if you don't understand it, it's important to consult with an immigration attorney who does, right? Okay. Second thing I wanted to talk about today is there's news. News. Everybody loves news. U.S. visa news is my favorite place to get news. That's on the State Department's website. And there was a posting yesterday, Worldwide Visa Operations Update. Okay. And so I'm like, what's this? Thank you for the person that brought this to my attention on Telegram. It's basically a bunch of feel-good information from the State Department. We'll skim it a little. They say that the State Department's visa processing capacity has recovered faster than projected. I know that many visa applicants who are watching this video waiting on U.S. Embassy Islamabad, Ankara, Abu Dhabi, or Yerevan are saying, what? Same with some embassies in Africa. It's just, I guess they're talking globally overall, you know. The embassies that are serving London and Paris are doing just so great that it helps make up for some of the embassies that aren't. I don't know. So they issued more non-immigrant visas worldwide in 2023 than any other year since 2015. Well, this is funny because in courts across the land, in Sunny, Santos, Wilson, Naveed, Iqbal, all of these lawsuits, the government argued there's no such thing as a non-immigrant visa prioritization scheme. Well, it sure looks like it, you know. So State Department prioritizes non-immigrant visas, tourists and students, and that's what happens, okay? So they talk again here about visitor visa applicants. They don't really talk about immigrant visa. They just pretend like immigrant visas don't exist. Secretary Blinken has nothing to do with immigration, right? Okay. Our goal for more than 90% of our overseas posts to have visitor visa, again, visitor visas. The State Department is responsible for immigrant visas also, but they pretend like they aren't. Current visa processing. It says today more people can travel to the U.S. than ever before. They're talking about NIV, non-immigrant visas. Secretary Blinken is in complete denial that he's responsible for implementing the Immigration and Nationality Act and providing paths, both family, employment, and diversity visa paths to the U.S. It's like they don't even know that that exists. This waiver section also is about non-immigrant visas. I don't have anything against non-immigrant visas. It's just most of my clients are immigrants. Okay, so now they talk about building on successes. We reunited families issuing 563,000 immigrant visas in fiscal year 2023. They're not talking about the number of people that they put in post-interview administrative processing that are stuck there for months or years. That statistic does not exist on the State Department website. They say that they've reduced the overall IV backlog, scheduling backlog, from 532,000 in July 2021 to just over 275. I looked at it a couple of days ago. It's not 275. It's 300,000 or something. They're just playing with numbers. We prioritize students and visitor visa interviews to facilitate study. It's really funny that they're arguing in court that they do not have a non-immigrant visa prioritization scheme. And on their website, they say, we prioritize students. Also interesting that they're not prioritizing all students. As many Iranian students know, they get stuck in administrative processing related to what amounts to Biden's pseudo travel ban. Oh, they do have a new record for African students, 40,000 visas. That's good. Could be more. More stuff about non-immigrant visas. Non-immigrant visas. Okay, here's something. We issued all the available diversity visas during the DV 2023 program year. Since its launch in 1990, this immigrant visa program has helped to promote and maintain diversity in the United States through the provision of visas to qualified applicants from countries with low rates of immigration in the United States. Isn't it weird that they are bragging about this program while at the same time appealing the orders in Gomez and Good Luck and Ray and Go and all those consolidated cases like Mohammed Fong John Kennedy that would lead to nearly 20,000 more diversity visas. But they don't want to issue those visas. They forget to say that here. Okay. They say they've streamlined their national security processing. I do not believe that. I would not have all these pending lawsuits if that were true. They don't even say where the visa applications that are in administrative processing, where they're in administrative processing at. We don't know where the DS 5535 is vetted. For the department to be completely non-transparent and then brag about how good they're doing in these imaginary vetting scenarios. It's just very frustrating. So I have vented enough probably about this. So I'm not going to subject you to it anymore. I'm ready to take some questions. Also today, we're going to do something fun. I want to do, there's another immigration attorney and he has a show and he does this cool thing where he invites guests into the studio and then they can ask a question in person. You have to be dressed. You have to be wearing clothes. Okay. And don't say anything that embarrasses me or you or is unlawful or gets us in trouble. Okay. But I'm going to share under all. So I know it'll show up on Facebook and YouTube, the link that you can hop in the studio. You'll be backstage until I select you though. Okay. There's the link. Who will be the first guest? 61 episodes into Let's Talk Immigration. I finally have the courage to do this crazy experiment. You know, it's a new year. While we're waiting for people to jump backstage, I want to go ahead and answer some questions that have been asked. So we got John Smith. He says, thank you for the streams. I'm on AP for DB 2024 since October of 2023. If it's delayed, I wonder if I can do anything now which can strengthen the mandamus file in the future. John, I don't think you could do anything now that would make it particularly stronger. You can have a family member or friend in the U.S. Do an inquiry through their member of Congress. There's a very specific thing to cite when you do that in the Foreign Affairs Manual. If you message me, I'll give you what it is. And what will happen is Morgan Miles, the director of Kentucky Consular Center, will send this template email to the member of Congress, and that will make a nice exhibit if you decide to file a mandamus litigation later. Also, I decided this morning I'm okay personally taking mandamus lawsuits for DV 2024 selectees who want to go ahead and file them. You just have to understand that there is a risk that it will not accelerate the visa adjudication. Okay. There's a strong possibility that it will, but there's a risk that it won't. Okay. Omar says, hi, I already said hi, Omar. Oh, Alex says, save DV 2020. I have someone backstage. Are you all ready? Let's do it. And then I'll skip over to these questions. Hello, Alam. You are the first guest. Oh, he got cold feet. I almost had the first guest. Well, he still was the first guest. It just lasted a few seconds. Looking for another guest. Alex says, Morrison, no correct DV 2020. We do not have an update on DV 2020. Joseph says, OMG, OMG. You're responding to, I don't know. Homer said, is there anything miserable than waiting this appeal? It's a new method for painting brain to see how long it will stand our mental health healthy. I don't know how hard it is to understand us. I agree. It is frustrating to wait the outcome of this appeal, especially as you watch the Biden administration celebrating how great they are, right? It's with visas. It is frustrating. Again, if you look in comments, there's a link that you can come join the live. Joseph says, what are the securities for the green card holders for the next journey? And how's the visibility path? Green card holders for the next journey. Securities. This question is maybe too general to even answer. Like, if you hold a green card, you're usually eligible for citizenship within 5 years or 3 years if you're married to a U.S. citizen. But there's other things you have to do, and you have to kind of stay in the United States for that to work out and pay taxes and be sure to register for the draft, conscription, go down to the post office. And so it's called selective service. You have to do that if you're a young person. So, but I'm not sure if that answers your question. Juan says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Juan. I'm from Cuba. Okay. Hola. Winner of the DV 2020. When will our response be? Okay, Juan. First of all, there are many Cubans that were winners of DV 2020 that are not Gomez class members because they were issued visas and those visas expired, and Judge Mehta's orders, particularly his order on summary judgment, does not give them relief. I'm assuming that you're not one of those, that you have not been issued a DV 2020 visa. So when you say when our response will be, what we're waiting on is the outcome of the appeal. We do not know when the outcome of the appeal will be. No one knows that. It is a 3-judge panel that heard oral arguments over a year ago, and we are waiting for them to issue their opinion on the appeal. There are many issues, like 5 or 6 different issues in the statement of issues, and they could give an order that is good for plaintiffs on this issue and good for defendants on that issue. So there are many possible outcomes. We don't know when it will be, just a lot of unknowns. And I realize that's frustrating. I need some water. Is there any news on DV 2020 appeal? No. If there is not, can you explain why it takes that long? Appeals take a long time because there are many appeals and not as many appeals court judges. That's why appeals take so long. I don't like to be jealous people. Why? I see they are traveling, but it's hard to accept this thing. I agree. I understand. The world changed. NIV, I have more priority than I am, LOL, for the first time in the world. It is a weird situation. Okay, if we win appeal, how they are going to prioritize issuance of visas. As I mentioned before, there are different outcomes besides just win or lose, because there are different issues within the appeal. And so what the words on the opinion, what they say, is going to matter a lot. The second thing that's going to matter is Judge Mehta and Judge Chutkan, when the appeal is comes out, when the opinion comes out, they're going to really be the deciders on how fast the State Department has to act. From their indications and their orders that stayed the lawsuits, though, we think that they would make the State Department act quick, especially in Gomez, Ray, and Go. Good luck requires an extra step because we still have to win summary judgment, but it is fully briefed, so I don't expect that to take long. Angelina says, "What's up? I'm James from Liberia." Hi, James from Liberia. Joseph says, "Issue processing is required in order for maintenance of the construction bill for the consistent current issuers, and this may speed limit the decision for the accuracy of the suits." I don't know what you mean, Joseph. I'm sorry. Okay. Gertie says, "What is done with DV 2021? Putting the link again in the comments so that we can get some people to come join us. There, it's in comments on Facebook and YouTube. Okay. What is done with DV 2021? Okay. The framing of the question is a little odd. I would say the majority of DV 2021 selectees, your journeys were over on October 1st, 2021. The journeys that are not over are good luck plaintiffs and DV 2021 selectees who benefit from the Ray order. So I'm concerned that you're not mentioning good luck or Ray because that makes me think maybe your journey is over. Also, journeys are not over for Go plaintiffs, G-O-H. I don't represent the Go plaintiffs, except for one, long story. That's Charles Scott. This DV litigation is confusing, isn't it? Gertie says we have to wait. Well, it depends. As I mentioned, you don't say whether or not you're good luck or Ray. So you just say DV 2021 and your case number. I need to know if you're a plaintiff in a lawsuit and what embassy you were waiting on if you want specific guidance with respect to DV 2021. Okay. John says, "Understand, much appreciated. You're welcome." Ayaz, "What's an update on embassy at Islamabad for green card citizen spouses?" Hi, Ayaz. As you know, our Iqbal lawsuit in the Eastern District of California, we were able to beat the government's motion to dismiss on that case. So they've already issued one visa, and the remaining two applicants are scheduled for interview on January 29th, and we're going to dismiss that group lawsuit. We have another group lawsuit that we filed called Con in the same court, and it hasn't been filed, but I don't know, more than 30 days, but the government's answer, it's too soon to know what's going to happen in that lawsuit yet, but I'm optimistic. I'm not really into filing group lawsuits for that situation right now. I prefer individual mandamus lawsuits. So if you have been unreasonably delayed waiting for an interview from U.S. Embassy Islamabad or any U.S. Embassy, consult with me about a mandamus lawsuit. AS says, "What's an update on Embassy Islamabad for green card?" I think that's the question I just got. Basically, if your spouse is a U.S. citizen, you're waiting on Islamabad, you've got 18 months from DQ date minimum. Okay, the only way to shave that down, I think, is with a lawsuit, or move your beneficiary, your spouse, out of Pakistan into one of the other countries. And people say, what other country? Any of them. Like Islamabad's the actual worst embassy. So if you could get them in any country in Europe, that would be great. But any country is better than Pakistan as far as U.S. Embassy go and processing of family-based applications. Okay, so I do have a guest backstage. Joseph, are you there? You're on mute. You have to unmute. I wonder if I can ask you to unmute.
Yes, sir.
You are the first real guest of Let's Talk Immigration. So
thank you very much.
This is exciting. So I want to help you. What's your question?
I was at Nairobi That is in Kenya. I'm a winner of DV 2022. So when I received an email and it was saying that I have to go to the embassy to pick my original documents. When I reached the embassy, I was told that my documents were destroyed, including my passport. So I don't know what was the main reason why that was said to me.
Wow.
Because when I reached the embassy, the security told me that let them go to the consular section and ask. Then they come back to me and reply to me. I was not allowed to access the embassy already. So I have my documents there.
Wow. And so that happened a couple years ago, right? In 2022?
2023. That's the last time I went to the embassy.
Okay. So you were a 2022 selectee,
Yes.
but did you try to pick up your documents in 2022?
No, I was not given an email to go and pick. So I received the email in 2023 that I should be going to pick my original documents.
Oh, and when you went, they said that that destroyed them.
Yes, but I went for several times. That was the last time when I went back, when they told me that they were destroyed. But for the other days I used to go, I was still on. They were showing me that I'm still in the process.
Right. So they never gave you your passport? They destroyed your passport?
Yes, sir.
That is crazy. Now, I've heard that this happening. It happened to a lot of people that were waiting on interviews from Kabul when they closed Kabul, and just recently from Khartoum when they closed Khartoum. But I've never heard of it happen at Nairobi. That's really strange. Um, you could you could sue them and you would probably win. The problem is it would be more expensive to sue them than it's worth. Um, that's a
But
frustrating situation.
yeah, but I'm willing to go ahead and sue them because
Well, I mean, okay, let me give you an example. Let's say I'll do this for $5,000. At the end of the day, they're going to give you they probably won't even pay the attorney fees. You're going to have to pay those, and they're just going to give you like, oh, how much did your passport cost to get a new one? And that's what they're going to pay your actual cost, and your actual cost here are not going to be as high as the cost of the actual lawsuit,
yes,
because you can apply and get another passport, right? Um,
yeah,
It's weird though, because when you apply for another passport, it's going to say, was your passport lost or stolen? And you say it was destroyed by the United States. I mean, that's going to be weird. Um, but I'm I feel bad for what happened to you. I just think that probably the best thing is to move on, because if you fight the State Department about this, at the end of the day, it's going to cost you more money than you're going to get.
yeah. Like you said, how do I give a reason for my passport being lost? Because I need it.
Did they put anything in writing?
I have one email
Okay.
saying to the last email says I should go and pick my original documents, but there is no email saying that they were destroyed.
I would respond to that last email to say, do you still have my original documents? If not, why? And just see if they'll respond. See if they'll put it in writing, and that way you'll have something to show anybody that asks what happened to your passport.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
thank you very much.
But I'm sorry the United States did this to you. That's not fair. And I hope that in a future diversity visa year you win. Did you enter for 2025, I guess, for next year?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
Well, you find out good news. Oh, we're already in 2024. So I hope you find out good news in May.
thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. First guest brought a different question than we normally get. So that's probably a good sign. So if you also want to show up on Let's Talk Immigration as a guest, find the link in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. Okay. I'm going to pick up on the questions over here. Selena says, can someone withdraw their petition in an interview stage when they receive the interview letter? Yes. Yes, you can do that, Selena. It happens sometimes with couples that are divorcing. Okay, got someone else backstage. Here we go. Ayaz.
Hello, Curtis.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. So, Curtis, a real quick question. I'm a citizen right now, and I'm trying to apply for my mom and dad parents, but the thing is that my dad, he's overstayed United States. Like back in 2007, he came back to the Pakistan. So now it's been like almost 15 years. So should I apply for my dad as a to apply them to for a green card?
He's been out of the United States since 2007,
Yes,
or
sir.
but when he was in the United States,
He was in United States in 2001, and then he overstayed. And since from 2001 to 2007, he was in United States for 6 years. He
yeah,
stayed here.
you need to file a petition for him too, because the bars on for overstaying, they're not forever. They're
Okay,
at most it's a 10-year bar, so it doesn't apply to him anymore.
okay. So
So
I can file a petition for him, right, for my
you
father.
can. Mhm.
Or do you suggest me to file separate for my mom and for my dad? Because if they deny my dad petition for the reason of being overstayed, so they're gonna affect my mom's petition as well.
Actually, you don't have a choice on that. IR5 petitions, you can't put both parents on one. It's you
Okay,
file one petition for one parent, one petition for another parent. So
right.
you can't file one petition for both parents. So
Okay,
that's actually a bummer in a way, because it costs you more money. Instead of
okay,
$535 for the USCIS petition, it's going to cost you $1,070.
okay.
Okay.
So is it okay, right, to file my dad's petition? It won't affect my dad's petition, right? It's already
No,
10 years.
no
Uh,
matter what your dad did, it's not going to affect your mother's petition. But
and it won't affect my dad's petition as well. It's already 10 years.
yeah, your dad still has a path because the 10-year bar is over
Okay,
on.
and one more question. Do I need to file any separate documentation? It says like apology for being overstayed at the United States or stuff like that.
No, not at this
No?
point. No.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Curtis. Thanks for your help, and I appreciate whatever you're doing for all the people over here.
Appreciate it. Have a good
Yes.
day. I'm liking that. I think we need to do more um, real guests. Not that your other questions over here are not real, but that's pretty fun. News of visas reserved for DV 2021. I do not have news on that. Talked about it a little bit. Right. I understand no more. Bickham says, thank you for updating. You're welcome. Come on. I want somebody to join me in the studio. Gertie says, case number 7151, Albania. I'm going to guess that you mean DV 2024. Okay. And in that case, we're going to go look at the visa bulletin for January. And Albania cases are AS cases because they're in the Asia category. And we see that 5,500 is only cases below 5,500 are eligible for interviews for February. Okay. So in your situation, 7,100, the earliest you could get an interview would be March. Am I right that Albania are AS numbers? It just occurred to me that they're EU numbers. Someone should comment to correct me when I do that. Thank you. Someone on my team did, actually. Okay, so EU numbers. Forget what I just said. 13,500 except for Uzbekistan and Russia. So that means it's current in the visa bulletin, so you're eligible to be scheduled for an interview in February. Okay? Now, you are assigned to an embassy that is doing a great job right now. Tirana is doing a great job compared with prior years. So do not move. Just be patient. You might not get the interview in February, but maybe you'll get it in March or April, okay? Okay. I have someone backstage, but camera is not looking straight at their face. So I want to add you, Alam, but you got to fix that camera. He disappeared. Okay. Faisal says the court won't issue any order in Faisal. That's not true. And also it's disrespectful to the court. Don't be disrespectful to the court. Okay. We're going to end this episode of Let's Talk Immigration now. If we don't have any more questions, last call for questions, our guest. Are you there? No? Okay. Everybody, have a great week. I will see you next Wednesday for episode 62 of Let's Talk Immigration.